They say history is written by the victors. But what if I told you there's a secret history hidden in plain sight, waiting for someone to uncover it? A history that's full of drama, intrigue, and larger-than-life characters who changed the course of our world. Well, buckle up because we're about to take a wild ride through time. We'll meet brilliant minds who cracked unbreakable codes, fought against the clock, and left their mark on history without most of the world even knowing their names. So get ready to learn about the hidden side of decimal revolution they never taught you. Picture this. The year is 1932 and the stage is set. Germany has just become the first country to introduce an encryption machine called Enigma, which can produce billions of possible combinations. This machine would be the talk of the town and the bane of many military operations in the coming years. It was like having a genie in a bottle, except instead of granting wishes, this genie could keep secrets safe and sound. People from all walks of life were fascinated by its intricate workings, and some believed it was completely unbreakable. But then came a man named Alan Turing who turned the tables and cracked the code. Now let's turn back the clock to December 1941 when the Germans had unleashed the beast. Britain found itself in a pickle as it tried to decipher the coded messages sent out by German U-boats. At that point, the Germans had deployed 3 versions of the Enigma machine, making things even trickier. The first version of Enigma was introduced in 1923 and quickly became popular among businesses for its ability to encrypt sensitive information such as banking details and trade secrets. But soon enough, word got out that the German military was using a more advanced version of the machine to communicate top-secret information. By 1941, as many as 100,000 of these machines had been sold, and the British were desperate to crack the code. If they could do that, they could read every German military message, giving them a significant advantage in the war. Enter Alan Turing, a brilliant mathematician who would change the game forever. In today's world, he is regarded as one of the most important figures in the history of computing. He designed and built a machine called the bomb, which could test thousands of Enigma settings in mere hours, something that would have taken a human mind an army of typists weeks to do. With the help of this machine, the British were able to decode German messages and stay one step ahead of the enemy. Now that's a story worth telling. But it wasn't easy. Turing's team faced many challenges along the way. There was skepticism from military officials who didn't think it was possible to break the code. There were technical challenges in building the bomb machine, and there was pressure from the government to deliver results fast. But Turing and his team persevered. They worked tirelessly, often putting in long hours and sacrificing their personal lives to solve the puzzle. Despite the odds stacked against them, they didn't give up, and in the end, their hard work paid off. Now let's talk about the impact of their achievement. Breaking the Enigma code was a turning point in World War II. It gave the British a critical advantage over the Germans, helping them to win key battles and ultimately shortening the war by 2 years. Historians estimate that this saved millions of lives and averted countless tragedies. It was a true testament to the power of human ingenuity and determination. So why should you care about this story? Because it's not just a piece of history. It's a story that inspires us to push the boundaries of what's possible. It reminds us that no challenge is too great and no obstacle is insurmountable. In a world where technology is constantly evolving, it is important to remember the pioneers who came before us and paved the way for today's advancements. So next time you hear about Alan Turing or the Enigma code, remember the quiet impact these individuals had on shaping our world. Their story deserves to be told and retold so that future generations can be inspired by their brilliance and bravery. Think about it. Before Turing's time, the world was a very different place. Communication was slow and unreliable, and technology was limited. But he and his team didn't just change the course of a war. They also laid the foundation for modern computers and cryptography. Their work paved the way for the digital age we live in today. So the next time you use a computer, send an email, or browse the internet, take a moment to appreciate the legacy of Alan Turing and the codebreakers. But hold up, there's more to the story that you need to know. As the war raged on, the British realized that the Germans were changing the settings of their Enigma machines more frequently, making it harder to crack the code. Plus, the Germans were getting wise to the fact that the British were reading their messages and took steps to prevent it. But Turing was not one to back down from a challenge. So he went back to the drawing board and came up with an even more advanced machine called the Colossus. Colossus was a massive undertaking that involved building a huge team of engineers and scientists. But in the end, it was worth it. The new machine was able to process vast amounts of data in real time, helping the British to stay ahead of the Germans. But here's the kicker. Colossus was the first ever programmable, electronic, digital computer. That's right. While the rest of the world was still figuring out how to make a mechanical clock, Turing was building the equivalent of a smartphone. As the war drew to a close, Turing and his team continued to develop new ways to crack German codes and keep the British one step ahead. They worked day and night, driven by a sense of duty and the knowledge that their work was saving lives. When the war finally ended, the world erupted in celebration. The Allies had won and peace was restored. But for Turing and his team, the party didn't last long. They knew that the threat of war was always looming and that they needed to be prepared. So they continued to work, developing new codes and ciphers that would keep the British safe in the years to come. But here's the thing. Despite their tireless efforts, the codebreakers were not recognized for their contributions during the war. In fact, they were kept secret for many years after the war ended. The British government was afraid that if the public knew how easily Enigma could be broken, it would undermine national security. So Turing and his team worked in secrecy. Their names erased from history books and their achievements classified for decades. It wasn't until much later that the world began to learn about the heroic efforts of these unsung heroes. Today, their legacy lives on in the form of museums, memorials, and documentaries. And their story continues to inspire people around the world. Who knows? Maybe you'll be inspired to follow in their footsteps and become a codebreaker yourself. Just kidding. But seriously, if you're interested in learning more about the history of cryptography, there are plenty of resources available online and in libraries. So go forth, no pot on one, and may the force be with you. You might be thinking to yourself, wow, what a crazy story. How can something so secretive and important have happened and almost been forgotten? Well, my friend, that's just the tip of the iceberg. History is full of untold stories that have shaped our world in ways we can't even imagine. And I'm just scratching the surface here. There are people whose names have been erased from history books, discoveries that have been lost to time, and events that have been shrouded in secrecy for decades. But I believe it is important to share these stories because they give us a deeper understanding of the world we live in today. By learning about the hidden side of history, we can appreciate the struggles and sacrifices of those who came before us and gain a new perspective on the challenges we face today. Plus, it's just plain fascinating to uncover these lost stories and bring them to light. It's like being a detective and solving a mystery, except instead of clues, you have historical records and documents, and instead of a criminal mastermind, you're uncovering the secrets of civilizations long gone. So I am on a mission to find these hidden gems of history and share them with the world. I want to show people that history is not just a bunch of boring dates and names that you have to memorize for a test. It's a vibrant, exciting journey through time that can teach us so much about ourselves and the world around us. So join me on this adventure and let's explore the hidden side of history together. Who knows what secrets we'll uncover? What other historical mysteries are you curious about? Let me know in the comments below. Together, we can continue to uncover the untold stories that shape our world and inspire future generations to come. Don't forget to subscribe for more thrilling tales from history's hidden archives. And thanks for watching.